Hi, welcome to my channel, Fantasy Shire. Just finished reading the Unfinished Tales. Um, and just listened to the audiobook of the Cerulean. I was just kind of looking for the appendices of Return of the King. And I was wondering about all the times that Eru Iluvatar, or God, as you will, intervened in the world of Middle-earth. Or before it was Middle Earth, when it was first created. But anyway, I'll go through all the ones that I can think of, and there's two which are speculation, but I believe that they definitely were. So the first one was the creation of Arda, which is the whole world. The corporate world itself was created by the great music of the Ainur, only when Eru Iluvatar commanded them to sing it. So I think I'll try with a quote. Then Iluvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music." Iluvatar gave their vision being, and set it amid the void, and the secret fire was sent to burn at the heart of the world. The second time he intervenes is the binding of the Ainur to Arda. So, it's not a massive act really, that one, but it's still something that he did, which proves that he does get involved. So here's a quote: "The condition Iluvatar made, or is the necessity of love, that their power should thenceforward be contained and bound in the world to be within it forever." So it was the binding of the two worlds together, Middle Earth, the world, and so it's really the connection of it all and the impact it had on the Valar and the Mare. The next one, I think it's in this order, was the Dwarves. It was I think this is a Dwarvish tale, and this is how I have it down. The Valar was the greatest craftsman within Arda, yet even his divine skill could not fashion a genuinely new sentient race of beings. Rather, he crafty, clumsy, autonomously representing his flawed conception of the children of Iluvatar, he had glimpsed during the great music of the Ainur. It took Eru Iluvatar's personal intervention to turn these automatons into sentient creatures. Here's the quote: "Even as I gave being to the thoughts of the Ainur at the beginning of the world, so now I've taken up thy desire and given it to a place therein." So essentially, dwarves. The next one is the Ents. So the Ondurin, so the Elvish name, were brought into existence by Eru Iluvatar's will. Eru is bountiful, Yavanna said. "Now let thy children beware, for thou shalt walk a power in the forest whose wrath will arouse you at their peril." And Tolkien writes in a letter in 1963 that the Ents were either souls sent to inhabit trees, or else that slowly took the likeness of trees, owing to their inborn love of trees. The next is definitely, you can tell that this is something Eru would intervene, is the eagles. The initial eagles were not natural animals, but as Tolkien said, spirits in the shape of hawks and eagles. They did not, this is another quote, "did not die, thought and mind meet also, so that we took wing together like great birds that soar above the clouds, that also shall come by to the heed of Iluvatar, and before the children awake, there shall go forth with wings like the wind, the eagles of the lords of the west." So that's 5 we're on. 6, obviously, he created physically created the race of Elves and Men, and he made one immortal in a kind of different sense to how he made men mortal. But the elves were jealous of men. They thought of death as a gift, really, and that's what Lord of the Rings of death is the key concept behind it all. especially with Tolkien being in World War One. So yeah, the creation of Elves and Men. So men were jealous of elves, and elves are jealous of men. Right, the next is the first captivity of Malkor, or Morgoth as he became known. This led to the Battle of the Powers, which destroyed and reshaped so much of the surface of the world it was unrecognizable. So the ocean between Aman and Middle-earth grew so big that the Bay of Valar came into being, and the north was ruined and made desolate. So yeah, he pretty much gave the good gods, Gandalf's kin. He gave him a hand. The eighth was when I think it's the Oath of Fëanor. The Oath of Fëanor, yeah. So the power of the oaths within Arda are a subject worth a blog post on their own. Like we could talk about some of the oaths that they made. Just read the Unfinished Tales. Anyhow, it's suffice it to say, really, that the rash words of Fëanor and his sons elicited action from Eru Iluvatar to bind them to its fulfillment. So essentially this is a quote from Unfinished Tales. They swore an oath which none shall break, and none should take, by the name even of Iluvatar, calling the everlasting dark upon them, if they kept it not. So it was necessary to invoke Eru Iluvatar's name, because the everlasting dark was a fate which was beyond the power of even the Valar to inflict upon the children of Iluvatar. So that's the Dwarves, the Elves, the Men. The reincarnation of Beren and Lúthien, which is on Tolkien's grave with his wife. Though their doom was revealed by Mandos by the way of Manwë, it was beyond the power of the Valar to change the fate of the children of Iluvatar. Manwë sought counsel in his inmost thought, where the will of Iluvatar was revealed. The next is, you might not know this is a Calabeth, so the downfall of Númenor, which was when, this is Aragorn's people. Aragorn, Númenorians were Elvish, mixed blood, kind of, is the best way to put them, and they were going to pretty much sail to the Undying Land and take on the fucking gods, mate. And Eru. So they were tricked by Sauron when he had a different form. He was a shapeshifter, so he's quite beautiful. And yeah, Aragorn's people stayed, the rest of them went to march on the gods. They were going to actually probably win, and Eru just sank them all, mate. So, you know, Iluvatar showed forth his power, and he changed the fashion of the world. You can kind of see how this was a bit of an accidental allegory. He created the Order of the Wizards, which is the Heron Istarion. So Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, and the two blue fuckers who went away. And that's pretty much all of the ones definitely canon in the books. Two more I can think of. One, who brought Gandalf back. The Valar had no power of that. All we know about Gandalf getting brought back is the quote, "Darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time, and I wandered far on roads that I will not tell. Naked I was sent back for a brief time, until my task is done." But essentially, he just kind of got a new white coat, a new white stick, had a bit of a beard trim, dyed white, pedicure, manicure. But sent back by whom, nobody ever really knew. So this is what he said in the letter, Tolkien, sent back by whom and whence, not by the gods, whose business is only with this embodied world in its time, for he passed out of thought and time. So Tolkien suggested that it was the intent of authority that Gandalf be sent back. But the authority in the form of Eru Iluvatar directly intervening, or authority in the form of Gandalf taking advantage of the rules that Eru had set up in the creation of the world, which now had allowed Gandalf to be reincarnated himself as a Maya spirit. Tolkien doesn't say so, that's just another one that, is kind of ambiguous, which, you know, maybe it was just Gandalf's raw power, he had to come back. And the other one is, in the film, Smeagol falls in the fucking volcano. In the books, it's not really said, but there's like a gust of wind from the west, and Tolkien does actually reveal that Gollum tripped in. Yeah. So really, Frodo did turn evil. Gollum could have gone away. Nazgul would have come, but no, Eru just kicked him in. But that's still not confirmed. He just gets me that one. If you think there's any I've missed out, then please do comment. And if you think that Eru did push Gollum in, then please subscribe and like. And look at the prizes to be won as well. Yeah, thank you for watching.